Hi, I'm Laura from Lawrence Branch, and if you are a book-loving family or a book-loving person, you probably have amassed a lot of different canvas and plastic and recyclable bags and book bags. I know we have in this household. I'm almost embarrassed to open up this door behind me, but I'm going to, and let me show you what's behind here. As you see, all manner of bags, canvas, sporting, drawstring, and then a little further down the cellarway, you can see the Polypro bags. So I am going to see if I can do something with these bags and find another use for them and get this area into shape. So join me while I figure it out. So my first step was to do some research and see what I was dealing with. What are these bags made of? How can you craft on them? And so there's a lot of information out there, and none of it was really clarifying for me. Some places were saying, yes, you can paint on these bags. Others were saying no. Some were saying you need to use certain particular products. How much heat can you use on them? And by the way, most of them are made of polypropylene, Polypro. And they're either woven or they're not woven. And each of the ones I was working with had a label inside. Usually they want you to know that it's recyclable, and so you will find a label. And the ones that are crunchy tend to be the woven, with a design on them, and the ones that look more fabric-y are not woven. So for my purposes, I don't sew, and I just wanted to basically decorate one of these so that I could use it again. We all have a ton of these. It's just a matter of, could I do something and make it look fresher and newer? Do I even need to keep all of these? We had so many. So my first one was read about whether you can or can't use glue and would a marker work. So as far as the glue, I cut out the fabric from another one that looked kind of like this blue one, dark fabric, and I cut out freehand flower shapes, and I hot glued them on. So this one is coming off a little bit. I could repair that. For the most part, they are staying on. If I pulled really hard, I could rip it off. And I used a low temp glue gun. And I was just putting as little glue as possible because I wasn't sure at first whether it would melt. So that worked out fairly well. And again, I was trying to keep with the theme of this bag. At first on the inside, you see I've got a pillow in here. It's just a basic grocery bag with vegetables. So I turned it inside out, and that's how I got the white and red, which suggested the black and white theming. So here's my side one, which is flowers, easy enough to do. Anybody could do this. And then on the back, I did use my Sharpie, just a black Sharpie. And I made basically a local, almost like a travel theme, but for where I live. I live in a part of Mercer County, which is adjacent to two other counties, Burlington and Monmouth. So my town is Yardville, nearby is Groveville and Allentown and Bordentown, Grops Lake, Hamilton Square, Lakeside Park, Crosswicks. So this is a very local bag. You probably couldn't buy one of these. Think about the place names and the history of where you live. You could easily make one of these for your area. Exit 3A on 195. And then just some basic squiggles. Not an artist, but I looked them up online and I just copied those. So just two ideas. And again, my very basic starter ideas. And they worked fine for me. trying to figure out, can you paint on these bags? And I was getting different answers. And I have a ton of acrylic paints. And so I just thought I would give it a try. And so for this one, this was a medical diagnostic laboratories bag. It was pretty blue. I turned it inside out. And I ended up with a nice white canvas. So my question was, could I paint on this and make it look new? So I got out my acrylic paints. And you see here, there's nothing fancy going on. I just did geometric shapes. Started with the blue and the pink and the green. And I just did one shape for each color. Ran back and forth to the sink that many times, cleaned it off. And then some of the lines needed sharpening. Left it outside to dry for a little while. And then a little while later, I used acrylic sealer finisher on it. And just I held it 10 inches away and one single coating, and the directions say that's all you need, and it's been drying in the garage. There's a slight odor to it, but again, absolutely, this is a way of freshening a bag that you already have. And think about all the designs you could do. You could do something easy or something more complicated, and children could do this too. They could make it their own way. So that's bag number 2. Project, I'm going to use or upcycle this Baker & Taylor bag. It's a nice bag. Everybody loves Baker & Taylor, all librarians. It's got a nice handle. It's got a great zipper. I probably got it at some long ago New Jersey Library Association conference, and I've certainly gotten my use out of it. So there's nothing wrong with this bag, but I want to see if I can use fabric to restyle it, let's say. And so I've got all of these scarves. Yes, we have a dummy lamp in our house that my daughter made. I've got all of these lovely scarves of my mother's that I've been wanting to do something with. I did donate quite a few, so I'm going to see if I can incorporate some of these. And then I know the rest of you also have a ton of scarves that you hardly get the chance to use. So I'm going to see if I can, again, use fabric with this one and see if we can make it look pretty. So you saw all of my scarves upstairs that I wanted to find a new use for. And again, this is that same Baker & Taylor bag. I used my utility knife to cut slits directly into the canvas. I pulled my scarves through. I didn't really plan it. I just thought I'll start with this and see how I do. So first one was this, then the gray. Then to cover a little more surface area, I used much larger scarves, and I show you in my pictures how I folded them. Those go straight across, whereas these have several slits across. So in, out, in, out, in, out. And then this is the last one. And then on each side, you see the jewelry. It's nothing fancy or valuable. These are my mom's and my daughter's pieces. By putting these on here, they're going to remind me of my mom and my daughter when I carry them. And the nice thing about this piece is it's not permanent. If you were a seamstress, you could absolutely sew things on here, but I would be able to pull this. This is a nice 100% silk scarf. I could pull that right out and wear it again if I wanted to, and or pull all of them out and put in new scarves. these were all different. The first one was the hot glue and the permanent marker. The second one was the acrylic paint, and the third one scarves. I hope that this has inspired you to think about your collection of polypro bags that you probably have and whether you could decorate and repurpose them. I'm going to show you the sources that I mentioned, and of course, as always, there are resources in our virtual branch and in the library that you would be able to check out to get ideas about decorating tote bags. Have fun with them. Thanks for listening.